So there's one type of lens that for me has always felt like a bit of a luxury purchase, and that is a large macro lens. They tend to be large and heavy, and so therefore you don't take them around with you all the time. And that's a problem because they're also usually hideously expensive. But recently I've had more of a use for a macro lens because I scan my own film. And the way I do that is on a sort of a mount where the camera rests on top of a set of tubes, and it's got a light box and everything underneath. It's a very clever system. I meant to make a video about it before, but for some reason just found it very frustrating to try and film me scanning film and getting good results. But anyway, I was using a Nikon 60-2.8 from the screw drive autofocus era, and that was a bit problematic. A, because it didn't autofocus on the Z9. B, it's got some distortion, so you have to correct for that and the original film camera lens distortion as well, which is a bit weird. And it is external focusing, so it just keeps collapsing over time on my setup. Kind of annoying. So I've replaced it instead with what I think is a bargain, the Sigma 105 2.8 DG Macro HSM for Nikon F mount. And I picked this up about 6 months ago for under £200. I think it's gone up a little bit in price since then. I think they are still available at that price, and the EF one is a little bit more expensive again. But this lens is a bargain. It has a completely flat imaging plane, it's got internal focusing, it autofocuses on the Z9. It's not particularly heavy by comparison to a lot of the other ones. What's not to like? And as I now own it, why not photograph some butterflies? As it is the end of the summer, and it's due to rain for the next 2 weeks, so let's use it while we've got the chance, because it's not weather sealed as well. This is where I spied quite a few butterflies a week or so ago. It might be a little bit late in the year now, but I'm hoping to find something. It's the perfect area. I mean, it's full of brambles and stinging nettles and stuff like that, but really haven't seen that many so far. This adapts really nicely on the Z9. It isn't too big and heavy, and it's quite well balanced, which is ideal for macro. It has a focus limiter and an optical stabilizer, which I like, and the autofocus seems to perform really well. It does come with a hood, but I haven't brought that with me today because I'm going to put a filter on it, and I will explain why. So for a filter, I'm going to be using a circular polarizer, and today I'm going to be using this one from K&F Concept. Now, K&F Concept, I use a few of their lens adapters for retro lenses, and they approached me and asked if I would be interested in testing out this filter. So keep in mind I was sent this for free as per usual. It's the Nano X series MRC True Color and Ultra Low Reflection Circular Polarizer. I have no complaint, it seems to perform really well. I don't really know what else to say about a lens filter, so I'll put a link down below anyway. It seems to work really well, and the reason I'm using this is to cut the reflection of the light, or the sort of glare of the light off of the leaves, because I want to be shooting more into the sun to get some more backlit subjects, and that is going to be an issue. So that's why I'm using this. Hopefully it works out well. The only concern I have today is that it's a larger filter, so I'm using some step-up rings, and this doesn't have a very large filter thread, but it does mean I can't put the lens hood on, so I'm going to keep an eye out for some flare, things like that. It might be more of a problem as the sun dips lower in the sky. So I'm just photographing a berry here first, and it's quite a good example of why I'm using a polarizer. I'll film a little clip of it as well. I'm not very stable, but you can see how much more green I'm able to get back into the photo by using the polarizer. Where do I need to go to? About there, I think. Nice. I'm shooting at f11 at the moment, and that doesn't necessarily feel like it's deep enough for full depth of field, but never mind. Now, what I can see in this area are some crickets or grasshoppers. I did just have one a second ago and it's moved. Where is it? I can hear it, I just can't... Oh, is that one? Or is that a leaf? No, it's a leaf. I think I'm just going to have to be much more methodical about searching for something of interest because it is just harder to spot them. Ooh, a fly. Let's just try and get a slightly different angle on him. That's better. I've got something, at least. It's not entirely a wasted trip, even if it's not what I came here for. Now, a couple of other things worth mentioning is if you are looking to buy a lens like this, the autofocus is not particularly fast. Not a massive surprise. Most macro lenses, or in fact every macro lens I've ever tried that has had autofocus, has not been that fast, but I haven't yet tried the new version of this because Sigma do make this for mirrorless mounts, well, for E and L mount. I'd like to try that out at some point, so I might have to source one and give it a go. But the autofocus in this works, at least, on the Z9, which is nice, but keeping up with things moving in the wind today is somewhat challenging. So I've just been shooting in bursts. I know a lot of macro photographers shoot manually, and therefore kind of doesn't really matter what you get. And in fact, I'd get an even older macro lens if you are going to shoot in manual focus. Just get a film mirror one. They can be really quite good and very reasonably priced. But the other thing to keep in mind if you're looking at this era of lenses, Sigma also made a much longer macro lens, a 180mm, I believe. I've never tried that either, but if it was going to give you extra working distance, that could be quite nice. Well, I was photographing a very interesting little bug on one of these leaves, and then I realised that that camera wasn't on, and now I can't find it again. But anyway, it was a very small bug, and it's quite a curious one, so quite pretty. Don't know what it is. If you do, put it down in the comments. Yeah, I've lost it now. Anyway, nice thing with the Z9 is that I can crop in, which does make it a little bit easier to get shots of these very small bugs. It's getting even windier, but I can hear a cricket quite close here. So can I spot it? Oh, I almost missed him. It's a shield bug of some sort, I think. The shield bug actually almost broke my S5 II the other day. In terms of weird insect anecdotes, it tried to crawl into the fan vents, which is not something I ever thought I'd say. Oh, got one in focus. Well, at least I finally found some insects. Still can't find the crickets that are in here. See if there's anything else around in this area now. I think it is just a case of spending more time in one spot and keeping an eye out, although one of those quite literally walked up in front of my face, so I'm not going to claim to have suddenly gotten better at finding insects. Let's try looking at some more of the berries, because berries and flowers seem like the logical place to see things. There is a path into the middle of the field that I could try, but I do think the fact that all of the flowers have sort of gone over now means that I'm just not really going to find much. Interestingly, I did just spy a moth rather than a butterfly, so it might be that time of the day when the butterflies are all going to sleep and the moths are coming out instead. If anyone knows what these bugs are, do let me know. I'm assuming it's a type of shield bug, but I don't really know. Let's try F32. Can you get the whole thing in focus? Oh, it's a bit blurry there. That's too slow, I think. Is it better to have shallower depth of field and a lower ISO? Oh, there we go, that's kind of cool. See if I can adjust the polariser. It's better. Oh, they're really interesting. They're sort of spotty. Anyway, that's about it for this fairly low-key video about using a lens for its intended purpose. Which seems a bit pointless now I'm saying it out loud. But let me know your thoughts down below, because I don't do a lot of macro photography. I never have done, because I wouldn't go out and buy one of these lenses for doing macro photography. It's not a discipline that I'm especially interested in, but I do like to try new things. And if you've bought a lens for one purpose, but it has other use cases too, well, why not use it for those as well? And give it a go. Maybe you'll find out that you really enjoy taking photos of weird little brown bugs. And if anyone knows what those are, do put the name down in the comments below. I just don't know that much about insects, to be honest. I'm not even that good at identifying birds, or people for that matter. Anyway, let me know your thoughts down below, any suggestions you've got on how to do better macro photography. I'd be really interested, and I'll catch you next time.